So there are motivated, energetic, inspired, just go-getter people. And then there are lazy people that do absolutely nothing. And you can only be one or the other. I'm totally kidding. But I'll prove it to you actually. Have you ever noticed a time in your life where you do something and it's like time just disappears? It's like you're in flow and it just magically works. And it's like you could do the one thing for 12, 14, 16 hours straight, whether it was a video game or going out on and hanging out with certain people or doing a certain job or teaching somebody or doing a certain business or being a part of a career or something as a kid. There's always been times where you are like ultra motivated. But I want to show you something, because if you unlock these 4 things, you will have an abundance of motivation. I want to show you that motivation actually doesn't exist. Motivation is just simply focus, discipline, and clarity. But how do we get that? How do we feel that oomph of motivation on a daily basis? I'm going to show you these 4 things. And if you unlock these 4 things, you'll be unstoppable. But with this, what's really crazy is these 4 things have nothing to do with you. They have everything to do with the mind. And in today's current world, these things are abundant in everybody's life on a daily basis, and it's slowing people in their tracks like this. So there's 4 blocks that people have. There's dopamine blocks, body blocks, purpose blocks, and distraction blocks. How do we get rid of them? Number 1, purpose blocks. No, sorry, dopamine blocks. I'll start there. Dopamine blocks. What is dopamine to start with? Dopamine is a chemical released into the body to make you feel good. It makes you go after something. It gives you a quick fix, so to say. It's pretty much a drug. But the biggest challenge is in today's world is dopamine is everywhere. And our mind is trained to literally just get dopamine hits like this. And because of social media and the way of this millennial generation right now is we've been raised in the world where you've got a thing called a mobile phone. You've got social media and you're so used to getting things now. And the problem is when you're used to getting things now, the mind is naturally going to expect things now. And your mind is just a super smart computer. It is designed to get you from path A to B with the least resistance and the quickest way possible without pain. Okay. The biggest challenge is take your phone, for example. Your phone is one of the most addictive devices we have in today's world, okay? Because it's literally, you open it up and it's just like a pokey machine. It's like the average person picks up their phone something like 400 plus times a day. The average person wastes 4 to 6 hours a day on social media or Netflix. Crazy, hey? I'm sure that's not you if you're watching this. But why I say this is because we're getting dopamine from so many different sources right now. And your phone, as an example, every time you open it, it is designed to hook you. Okay. And I want you to think of a time where you've jumped on your phone. You're like, oh, I've just got to quickly check my inbox and get something really quickly. And you've gone onto Instagram to go into the inbox and you see the story pops up and you get taken down the rabbit hole. And before you know it, you're half an hour in, you're 60 minutes in, you're an hour and a half into just scrolling and you don't even know it because your mind is just hooked. The problem is dopamine in today's world is so addictive, and it's created a mentality in our minds where we just want it now. We don't have patience. So what releases dopamine? Things like your phone, Netflix, sugar, all these sorts of things, alcohol, drugs, gambling, anything that gives you a quick fix, video games, movie series, actual movies. They release dopamine. It's why you get hooked. It's why you'll watch an episode of something. You're like, oh, I'm going to go to bed after this episode. And it's like, it hooks you in and you just watch that one more episode. Okay. But the biggest challenge is our mind, the moment it isn't getting dopamine, it gets bored or it looks for the next thing. And it's why you'll notice when you're bored or not doing something, you'll go and snack or you'll eat sugary foods or whatever it may be. So what you need to do is you need to train your mind to do things to earn dopamine. Okay. Here's an example. Back in the caveman ages, the only way you could get a dopamine fix was to go out and hunt for your food or go and find a mate or whatever it may be. Is that you had to go and work. There was no such thing as a quick dopamine fix. So naturally, the body and the mind naturally had more ambitious. It naturally worked a little bit harder. It naturally went out and did these things because it was the only way to get dopamine. But as I mentioned, the problem in today's world is we're so used to getting dopamine right now. So your mind is literally trained to just want things right now. I remember when, I might be showing my age here, but I remember when the internet first came out, you jump on a website and it would literally take 3 or 4 minutes to load, and it was normal. I remember you wanted to download a song, and I remember we used to use LimeWire or something. We used to download a song, and Dad would download a song for us, and it would take a whole night to download one song. Now, if you don't load a page on your phone or your laptop in a couple of seconds, or if you can't listen to a song within a couple of seconds, you're clicking the refresh button. We want things now. And the problem is, in this today's modern world right now, is if your mind is so used to getting quick dopamine fixes and it's resorting to sugar or Netflix or things that gives it a quick fix, the problem with that, you're going to find it very hard to focus in business, your career, your fitness goals, your financial goals, whatever it is that you want. It makes it so much harder to focus, okay? Because it's trained to just want it now. So I want to give you some tips. Is what you need to do is you need to restrict the sugary foods, the processed foods. You need to stick away from things like, you've got to understand is that if you want different results in your life right now, and as we're going through this module, I want you to think about is that what level do you want to play at? What sort of results in your life? If you want level 10 results, you're going to have to take level 10 actions, okay? So with that is, you can take whatever I talk about right now with a grain of sand. You can implement it to the extent you want to. But there's little things that, how can you train your mind to not keeping on picking up your phone? Like right now, my phone is on airplane mode, okay? Like my phone is on airplane mode for the next few hours while I work so I don't get distracted. I know one of my mentors, he literally got rid of his phone for 3 weeks to train him not to rely on his phone to get that quick fix because it was distracting him. I'm not saying you need to do that, but you're going to have to do some things to remove the quick fix dopamine. You need to be doing things to train your mind to earn dopamine. If you continue doing things that gives it a quick fix, you're going to have a tough time focusing. So what I suggest is I do a dopamine detox. Okay. So remove your phone for a while, give yourself like a certain amount of time that you spend on social media each day or whatever it is. Or I know people have set up, like you can set up a timer on your phone to literally block you out at certain times if you've been scrolling. But you just need to become disciplined, okay? It's just mastering the basics. Never talked about in the past. There's no trick or there's no secret to getting what it is that you're after, okay? Like everybody's looking for the secret to success or happiness or fulfillment, but there's nothing. Take exercise for an example. If you want to get fit, it's simple. It's 4 things: sleep, drink a good amount of water, eat good food, and exercise. There's no trick, but the problem is it's discipline. People can't stay focused. They want things now. But you'll notice every single successful person I know that has built a substantial business, whether it's a 7 or 8 figure business, they've got an incredible family, they've got a great love life, all this sort of stuff. They didn't get it overnight. The thing is, most people with this new age, especially with the e-commerce world, people want things now because you see these young kids driving Lambos, doing this sort of stuff, but people are getting fooled by it. So they think that they can make money really easily. But honestly, most people that have something that's going to stand the test of time playing that infinite game, they've been in this world for 5 to 10 years, showing up every single day, mastering their craft. So what I encourage you to do is I want you to assess your life and have a look at like what's distracting or giving you quick dopamine fixes. Is it your phone? Do you just eat shitty foods? And do you get distracted by social media? Like whatever it is that you need to do, you need to start removing that sort of stuff and start doing things to train your mind for a quick dopamine fix. Instead of going to the movies, go and do something like golf or play a game with a friend or whatever it may be, to start training your mind to start earning dopamine. Okay. That's the first one. Second one is body blocks. What do I mean body blocks? I mean digestive system blocks, okay? Your digestive system uses the most energy in your body. And I don't know about you, but I'm sure you could relate. But think about the time, rewind back to maybe this morning or even yesterday or last week, to the time you had a big meal. Might have been Macca's for me. A big meal. And the moment you finish that meal, you can almost feel your body slow down. You feel sluggish and lethargic. And it's just like a race car. You've got to understand that if you put normal fuel in a race car, it's going to drive pretty good, right? But until you put the race fuel in the car, you don't know how good it's really meant to perform. But when you put the race fuel in that thing is a superstar. It's a supercar. It's the same thing with your body. But what you'll notice is when you have big meals, like anything that is a high inflammation. So I encourage you to stick to a low inflammation diet. Okay. And we'll be doing a section on this in the weeks to come, or if you've come in this a little bit later, it'll a little bit already be open about like body hacks and how to optimize your body and different types of diets to stick to according to what your goals are. Because everybody wants to play this life at a different level. It's a game at the end of the day. But with it, is you've got to understand is that your digestive system requires so much energy. And you'll notice when you're having a crappy diet or you're having a big meal, you'll get like brain fog and you'll feel slower. And it's almost like you don't feel as smart. And you might even get like a little bit inflamed or puffy in the face or sweat more. That's your body trying to work overtime to get that stuff out. So I'll give you a tip on what I do for my diet side of things. So for example, in the morning, because I spend a lot of hours working on what it is that I do, is I start my morning. This isn't going to work for everybody. So do your own research on a low inflammation diet, but I'm going to show you what I've noticed. Most people playing at a high level with extreme amounts of energy do. They start their day like this. They either fast. For me, fasting doesn't work. So what I did is I've got a liquid diet to start with. So in the morning, I have my super greens. I've even got my super greens here right now. And I have a smoothie, something easy, smooth, light on the tummy to get the body moving. Okay. So I've got some energy. I've got a little bit of carbohydrate so I can get in and put my energy into this. And then I don't have my first big solid meal until around 2 p.m. And I do that so I can have my most effective hours from 4 a.m. till 2 p.m. with all the energy. So my digestive system is having a rest. But not only that, is I also do a 24-hour fast once a fortnight. I'm not recommending that, by the way. Like, go and see, chat to your diet, your doctor or whatever it may be first. But if you're in good physical, healthy shape and you've done one of these before, you're going to be able to relate to me, because your body, because it spends so much time in the digestive system, it doesn't get a chance to completely rejuvenate the cells. It doesn't get a chance to breathe. The best part about doing a 24-hour fast, not only is it great for your discipline and your willpower, is it gives your body to rejuvenate and rebuild its cells. And if you've done it before, you'll notice the next 2 to 3 days after your 24-hour fast, you feel like a super saiyan. You feel superhuman. It's crazy. So the first one is dopamine blocks. The second one is tummy blocks or your body blocks. You need to get rid of that. But the third one is purpose blocks. Have you noticed people that literally work? They will work like absolute animals. They will work 15, 20 hours a day nonstop. People like Elon Musk. Like, how is it they do it? Like, how is it they go all in on what it is that they're doing? And it's because they're on purpose. They absolutely love what it is that they do. Okay. They absolutely love whatever it is they do. I'll pull my whiteboard over in a second. I'll tie this into something as well. But they're always thinking on the bigger picture. They're not thinking short term. Look around you right now. Jump on your social media. Look at maybe some of your friends. You notice people are trying to get things now, right now. And the thing is, easy come, easy go. And if you focus on that thing right now, it's going to be very hard to find what it is that you truly love. And you notice in the next module, or 2 modules after this, we've got the purpose project. And I've got a different way of looking at purpose, but it's going to help you specifically to unlock your purpose block. Okay. Because there's been times in your life where, like, you can look at purpose as fulfillment or however it is that whatever it is you believe in it to be. But rewind back to times in your life, and it was very similar to what I talked about at the start, where you were just in flow. Time just disappeared. And it was like nothing else in the world ever mattered. Okay. And that's times in your life where you've been doing something that you really love and enjoy. Have a look at your personality type. Okay. Because I know there's things that I love being around people. I love talking like this, knowing I'm helping somebody through a screen, through a microphone, through a camera. Okay. Some people absolutely hate that. Some people are fully introverted. They want to do the opposite. Have a look at like what it is and what sort of personality type it is that you are. Okay. Because if you don't find your true thing that's purposefully driven and gives you fulfillment, it's going to be very hard to unlock your limitless potential. I'd say it's almost impossible, because you'll notice there's people that get burnt out and all this sort of stuff. But I truly believe if you're working from a place from inside here rather than your head, and it's fulfilling and it's purpose driven, you can just keep going. It's like you have infinite energy, okay? Infinite motivation, something that inspires you and lights you up, and you're making a real difference in the world. So number 3 was your purpose lock. You need to start looking into what it is that you're here to do. I don't believe people are here to just, like, born, go to school, get a job, pay the bills, have a family, and die. I believe everybody's got a purpose. Okay. But I want to show you something really quickly. I usually do it on my sketch pad, which you'll see in some of the other videos, but I'll show you on this one really quickly. Is we've got a macro and your micro. I call this the war, and I call this your battles, okay? And where people get stuck, and this is going to really help you with your purpose, is most people are so concerned about losing or failing or coming across challenges, okay? So if you're not familiar with micro and macro, think of like, for example, I live in Buderim on the Sunshine Coast. So Sunshine Coast is macro, Buderim is micro. It's a part of the Sunshine Coast. But then you can go bigger. There's Queensland, and micro of Queensland is Sunshine Coast. But then you go bigger. There's Australia, and then there's Queensland. That's a micro of Australia. Okay. So micro is just a smaller part that makes up the bigger part. Okay. So you notice all of these visionaries, they've all got a 5 to 10 year vision or even bigger. They're focusing on a macro picture, which is the war. But you've got to understand, to win this war, it's made up of lots of little battles, okay? And the thing is you can lose a battle, but still win the war. But you can also win a battle and lose the war, okay? You've got to understand the macro vision is what you need to be in love with, okay? The macro vision is your purpose. It's your mission. That's what you must be in love with, because if you're not loving what you do every single day, it's really hard to show up and be your best version, right? It's really hard to be motivated, all right? So you need to focus on the war, the macro vision. But then you break it down into your battles, your bite-sized bits. And that's where people get lost, because people are like, oh, I'm not passionate about it anymore. It's not working for me. And I don't like doing this. And I don't like doing that. Well, look, I don't like doing accounting. I don't like doing Facebook ads. There's a lot of things I don't like doing in my business, but I do want to make an impact on humankind. I do want to create the biggest networking and education platform in the world with the Masterverse. That is what I will do. That is my mission. Okay. We will have the biggest one in the world. Give it 3 to 5 years, mark my words. And in between, it's not going to be fun. We're going to have down months. We're going to have up months. We're going to have people sign up. We're going to have people cancel. We're going to have good feedback. We're going to have bad feedback. So there's going to be lots of little wins, but there's also going to be lots of little battles that we don't enjoy every single day. But it's about the macro vision. It's about winning the war, not every single battle. And here's a great example. I've got 2 beautiful little kids. I've got Malibu and Zandy. Okay. I absolutely love my kids, macro vision, but is every single day fun? Hell no. Sometimes they drive me up the wall. Some days it's horrible. It's really challenging to be a parent. Some days you're questioning yourself, but some days are absolutely glorious. Okay. But the macro outcome is I have a family. I have beautiful kids, but not every day is sunshine and rainbows. So I hope that makes sense with your purpose. So jump into the purpose project after you finish this video, and it will really help you. And I'll show you 3 to 4 elements on how to bring your purpose together and really make a long-term vision. Anyway, I'm going to go back on track. Next one, the final one, is distraction blocks. And this is probably the hardest one for people. Okay. And I want you to think about this quote while I go through this, and write this down. Is if you don't make sacrifices for your dreams and goals now, your dreams and goals will eventually become the sacrifice. Okay. I'll say that again. If you don't make sacrifices now for your dreams and goals, your dreams and goals will eventually become the sacrifice. Okay. And this is what I mean by distraction blocks, because I love going out for a drink with my mates. Love it. But the thing is, I'm not doing it right now because it distracts me. It's a quick dopamine fix, and it doesn't fit in with my disciplined schedule to master my greater vision. There's going to be times where you are going to have to sacrifice short term to achieve the long term. And as I mentioned before, it's going to be in accordance to what it is that you want with your goals. So going back to our first modules where you talk about your goals, is if you want level 10 goals, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. If you want an impact, like I'm pointing over here because I've got my mentors on the wall, Elon's one of them. If you want results like Elon Musk, where he's made a dent in the universe, literally, he wants to get humankind to Mars. He's created Tesla, SpaceX, PayPal. If you want that sort of impact, if you want a successful business, if you want to be in that 1%, there's a reason why 96% fail. Because most people aren't disciplined and they're not willing to sacrifice. I'm not saying you have to get rid of things forever. But if you're going out and partying every single weekend, and if you're distracted, and if you just watch Netflix 24/7, if you don't wake up with a good morning routine, if you don't do things like this and work on yourself, if you're not going to make sacrifices right now, one day, the things that you want will become the sacrifice. So distractions are what really separate people and put people off path from being on their purpose and going after what it is that they really want. So I want you to have a look around you right now. Like, what sort of things distract you? What's in your environment? Who do you surround yourself with? How disciplined are you? Okay. What things are distracting you? Is it like the boys' night on a Wednesday night where you catch up for beers and a drink, or whatever it may be, or whatever it is? I want you to have a look about, if you want level 10 results, it's going to require some sacrifice. But the best part is, if you don't have to sacrifice it forever, I should say, but you will have to sacrifice some things now if you want that extraordinary life. If you want that outstanding life, those outstanding results, you will have to do things differently. You will have to sacrifice things short term for the greater vision. But that's all I really want to touch on with you guys. Look, at the end of the day, if you master those blocks, your dopamine blocks, your body blocks, your purpose blocks, and your distraction blocks, you're going to have unlimited motivation. You're going to be ultra focused. You're going to be superhuman. But it's about mastering those basics, and there's no trick to it. It's about identifying, eliminating, or reducing, and going all in. But it all comes back to our very first module. I know so many people come into the Masterverse and they're expecting to find the secret to success. And the first thing they do is set their goals. But the thing is, like, it's so important to master the basics and getting clear and forming that roadmap in your head so it knows exactly where it is that you're going. But look, I'd love to know your feedback. You can drop a comment in the comment section below. I hope that helped. Have an incredible day, and I'll see you in the next one. Catch you.